Hello and welcome to our Stay Wild at Home adventures. Today, my name's Luke Strachan. I'm the CEO of Wild Things, and this is
Eleanor. Hello.
Eleanor is our fieldwork manager and has a huge wealth of knowledge about all things in the natural world. We're out today on a hunt for flowers because each week we're going to be sending you out a new activity pack directly to your care home for you guys to enjoy. We hope it helps you guys get out into nature, into your back gardens, enjoying activities themed around the natural world and good company of your friends. So we're gonna head off now and see if we can't find some flowers for you guys. Okay, Eleanor, well, we've been walking around for a while now, and one thing is clear. There's flowers everywhere. They're in the village, they're on the path, they're out on the moors and on the dunes here. And we've got ragwort, blackberry, we found fennel and heather, gorse, so many different kinds. But can you tell me what exactly is a flower?
So a flower is the plant's way of reproducing. A flower will have different parts and it will produce pollen. And the idea is to get that pollen to another plant of the same kind, and that's how seeds are formed.
Amazing. So tell me a little bit more about, obviously flowers are known for having a beautiful scent and often lovely petals. So why do they have these features?
It's to attract the pollinators. Actually, some of them smell horrible, so some of them are designed to attract insects that are more attracted to horrible smells. But obviously a lot of them do smell nice. They might smell like fruit or they might smell like honey. And it's just the plant's way of saying, come here, please take this pollen and take it away to the next plant.
Amazing.
There are different parts to the flower. Obviously we know about the petals around the outside, and they work as a bit of a landing pad for those pollinators to come in. So some people think that pollinators are just the bees. There's some coming now. Some people think it's just the bees, but there are also flies and all kinds of wasps, including tiny ones. And the petals work to kind of say, come here, here's the pollen. You can have some nectar as a reward for taking the pollen away. There's some evidence that it actually looks different to the way that we see it to the insects. So there might be patterns on the petals that they can see in ultraviolet that say, yeah, come here. This particular family of plants, which is the daisy family, it looks like these are the petals, but they're actually they're a different part, and the real petals, they're the sepals, and the real petals are inside here. So each one of these dots is actually an independent flower, and each one has all the parts of an independent flower. So it's got the anthers and the stamen, and all of those reproductive parts of the flower. Okay, so this is heather. We've actually got two species of heather here. We've got ling and bell heather. Ling has tiny little flowers, whereas bell heather has these bell shapes on it. So heather's a really important plant. Obviously it's iconic to Scotland, but it's also used for lots of things. So it's used in basketry, fire lighting. You can make a cup of tea out of it, and obviously heather honey is a highly valued prize there. So yeah, it's really important for the pollinators and all the invertebrates as well. I actually found a little caterpillar here, and there'll be lots of other things using the heather in various ways as well. One of the examples of this is, if you look at the heather flowers, there are little holes at the top of it, and that's where a bumblebees come along and try to take the nectar out, well, successfully taking the nectar out. Now the bumblebee is too big and fat to get inside these little flowers, so that would be more designed for something smaller, like a little chalcid wasp. So what the bumblebee's done is it's used its mandibles to bite through the side of the flower, and it's actually stolen the nectar out. Thankfully for the heather though, I think it can be buzz pollinated as well, so the vibrations of the bumblebee on the flower should be enough to pollinate this heather. Okay, so this is a mallow, as in marshmallow, That name actually comes from the fact that the mallow leaves can be used to thicken things like soups and stews. So the original marshmallows, the sweetie, would have been made from mallow and sugar.
Yeah.
Okay, well, someone's obviously put a lot of work into this display. So there's a lot of garden flowers here that you wouldn't find normally in the wild. But a lot of them have relatives that we would find in the wild. So earlier we looked at a crane's bill, and this geranium here is one of its relatives. So much more colourful, very lovely little plant. We also have petunias, very popular in the garden. They smell great and the bees love them. This one up here is a salvia. So the wild varieties of this would be wood sages, even wild thyme, mints, basils. All of those are all related to this, and you can tell that it's a relative because it has a square stem. So if you run your fingers down it, you can feel that it's got a square stem. And again, the bees absolutely love this kind of plant. A bit further over, we have some African marigolds. So I'd imagine that they're native to Africa. I certainly haven't seen them growing in the wild here. What else do we have? And we have a nice daisy here. So quite a lot of plants in the daisy family, and they all have this distinctive pattern of lots of tiny little flowers that look like dots, and then this extra bit around the outside with lots of them. Hello, welcome to a small section of my garden. As you can see, in the summer there's actually quite a lot of flowering plants here. Now, those with a keen eye might notice that some of these are weeds, whereas some of these have been planted officially. I have quite a fondness for the weeds, and I don't know if you can see or hear from there, but there's actually quite a lot of insects enjoying them, and they seem to have a preference for some of the ones that I've left in. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about some of the things I've got here, and they're common garden species that you might find in your gardens as well. So at the front here we have a petunia, the yellow ones and the pink ones. Very common as a bedding plant. Some things you might not know about them, they're actually related to tobacco. So the word petunia comes from the French pétune, which apparently means tobacco. They're also related to all the solanaceae, which is our potatoes, our aubergines, peppers, tomatoes, and lots of things that we eat. So they're originally from South America, and they have quite a nice smell to them. And it was thought that the Mayans that used that smell, or believed in that smell, to ward off evil spirits and mystic creatures from the underworld. So they used an infusion to try and get that smell out. That's related to this other Nicotiana. You can hear it in the name, it's also tobacco plant there. We also have some field scabious. I'm actually not sure, I think this one would have made its way into this garden as a cottage seed mix. Behind me at the back here we have some borage. In fact, I'm going to pick that flower and use it for our flower pressing. It's also known as a star flower, and you can see why. We also have one of my favourites, which is this lovely flower. This is a nasturtium, very popular as a garden flower because it grows all over the floor, so it will carpet the floor. But the reason I like it, and the reason it's my favourite, is once I've done a little check for bugs, there's nothing in there. This is an edible flower. That is delicious. We also have various members of the daisy family. So we have a dahlia here. I'll pick that and see if we can flower press that as well. though it is quite large. We have some of these orange daisies, so I think this mayweed will make a nice addition as well. A couple more of the weeds that we've got. We have a knapweed here. I've decided to keep it because it really is popular with the bees and the butterflies. Right next to the petunia, I have allowed this red dead nettle a place in the garden. So this is actually another edible plant, but it's more popular with the insects and they like to go into there. It's related to a lot of our herbs, so it's related to mint, basil, oregano, thyme. It does look a little bit like a large thyme or maybe a sage, so it's related to all of those. Behind me you can see some poppies. These were planted, but you do get lots of different varieties, and sometimes they make their way into your garden for free.
Well, we've had an amazing walk across Findhorn. We've been across the dunes, through the woods and through the village itself, and we've found loads of different flowers that we've gone. It's been amazing. So yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you again next week, where we'll be sending another pack and another video and another activity for you. And we'd like to end our video by saying a big thank you for watching, and a thank you to all our key workers who've been keeping us safe, and we'll see you next time. Stay wild at home.